the most aggravating thing for me as a disabled musician was to have well-meaning people try to tell me what I needed to do to fix the problem that I had. And it is like, it's still, because I still, people will just like, well, I used to be a trumpet player, and, I don't consider myself a jazz musician anymore, but I have a lot of jazz experience. And if I were to sit down at the piano, you would not, you would question why I don't consider myself a jazz musician anymore. But, if you knew more about me as a musician, you would know why I don't just consider myself a jazz musician anymore. I think of I think of myself very highly. No, I like to think much more broadly than that. And I embrace music that goes far beyond just whatever the jazz canon might be. And so for me, to have people come to me and, try and tell me what I needed to do to get the trumpet back, it bugged me even when I was still in New York and I was kind of going through this dystonia stuff it was like well-meaning people. I remember there was this lady in my neighborhood that tried to get me to start taking some kind of pills that she was hawking in some like multi-level marketing scheme that she was involved in.
I don't know.
It was like Herbalife or one of the, it was probably headquartered in Orem or Provo. It's just,
that's
it was horrible.
MLM marketing of the world.
Yeah,
and in Utah,
and it drove me insane, and it really kind of turned me off to a lot of people when they would do that. But in the end, the great thing about becoming disabled is that I learned to play the pipe organ, and I started composing much more than I ever really had in the past. And I always composed. I think all musicians kind of write a little bit of music for the most part. But not in the sense of like, really formally. And for somebody like me too, with a jazz background, my kind of writing music was, you can kind of sit down and do it in a morning, you write out a head and write out some harmonies to go with it. And, it's an ABA form and done. But right. Like real composition where you're writing for instruments and trying to make creative choices that are going to, tell a story or make people laugh, make people see the beauty in the world, whatever. So the great thing about my dystonia is that now I am able to do all of these things that I probably wouldn't necessarily have done otherwise.
And everybody's injury experience is unique. Like I've done, it's probably almost 24 interviews at this point. And talk to who knows how many more people about their injury, and everyone's experience is so unique. And I'm so glad and grateful that you mentioned the part about well-meaning people trying to come to you with solutions.
Oh yeah, and like certainly like all well-meaning, lovely,
Oh, totally.
Yeah, like just people that and I'm being very sort of cagey on the details intentionally, because I would hate to, offend any of these people. But at the same time, like they couldn't see, and I don't think, like they just can't see how much it would make me cringe every single time they would come up and say, hey, you should do X, Y, Z and this and that, and go talk to so-and-so and this and that. And it's a great reminder to, to people to, start out with a question. Before you jump in before you try and mansplain, start out with a question and try and get information.
That's a soundbite right there.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode of Trust the Process, the official podcast of Musician Unchained, the newest coaching program dedicated to helping musicians navigate and overcome injury. But before you go, I have a few quick ways you can stay connected and support our growing community. First of all, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a text with the link below and share your thoughts, questions, or just say hi. You can also check the show out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We also would love to see you in our Facebook support group, Trust the Process Podcast Injured Musician Support Group. If you found value in today's episode, consider making a donation to support our mission of empowering musicians worldwide. Every contribution helps us create more content and resources for you, So visit link number 2 below to support the mission. If you decide to donate, I'll send you my newest resource, the Injured Musician Toolkit, which is an ebook designed to give you tools to help you get through your injury. Subscribe to our newsletter to get exclusive insights, tips, sneak previews of episodes, and announcements straight to your inbox. Act now and I will send you a free gift. So sign up at www.musicianunchained.com/newsletter. And if you or someone you know would like to go deeper with me in the topics of injury and mindset, head over back to musicianunchained.com and check out the Let's Hang tab. As always, I want to thank Daniel Baldwin, my audio engineer, and my sister Dana Lovell for her help with the promotional materials. There is no podcast without them. But before I go, I want to tell you how much I deeply appreciate your time and support. You are not alone on this journey. There are musicians and educators out there who need this resource, and we need to get it to them. Together, we are breaking the chain of old habits and thought patterns that don't serve us anymore, and unchaining the potential within ourselves to face each challenge with strength and resilience. So, as I always say, keep on keeping on, and keep trusting the process. Until next time.